Massive breaking news coming out of Manchester this afternoon, with Aston Villa reaching an agreement with Manchester United over the loan transfer of Marcus Rashford. As well as this, Mathys Tel takes a step closer to joining Manchester United. These are just some of the topics we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please do me a small favour. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're just about to hit 41,000 subscribers, so go and do that right now. And be sure to like the video as well. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. So before I bring you this news story on Marcus Rashford, I want to know you, the Manchester United fan, what your thoughts are on this deal. I'll give you a really quick summary of the deal, but get in the comment section and let me know. Are you happy with Marcus Rashford leaving the club to join Aston Villa? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Pause the video, put your thoughts in. I'd love to read what other Man United fans have to say. So this is coming out from Manchester Evening News. It's coming out from lots of other journalists as well, that Manchester United have now reached an agreement for the loan of Marcus Rashford. It says Aston Villa will pay 60% of his wages, as well as a loan fee, which we don't know the amount that will be yet. And there is also a buy option in the deal. Then we also have another story coming out that apparently Marcus Rashford has now said his goodbyes to his teammates and to the staff at Carrington, and he will travel to Birmingham for a medical. Most likely will be tomorrow, it's being reported. So this is absolutely massive story, just at the end of transfer deadline. Obviously, we know that Aston Villa sold Duran to Saudi for, what was it, £70 million? Crazy money. And they're now desperately looking for a new attacking player. You know what? I'm going to look at this from a balanced perspective. I actually think this is a really good move for Marcus Rashford. He's not going to be under the same spotlight as that he is under at Manchester United. And let's be honest as well, right? Some of you aren't going to like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. At this moment in time, Aston Villa are a better footballing side than Manchester United. They are. As a business, as a brand, obviously we're always going to be levels above them. But from a football perspective, they've just qualified for the next round of the Champions League in the top 8 positions. They are, I think, 3 points off the Champions League places in the Premier League. They're doing really well. They're just about to sign Tomori from AC Milan. They've got a great squad, a great manager, and they're a little bit further along in their development, if that makes sense. At the moment, we're still finding the team that we're going to become under Ruben Amorim. I'm confident that in the long run, Manchester United will be a success under Ruben Amorim, but at the moment we're still kind of learning. We're going through pain, whereas Aston Villa are a little bit more established. Obviously, I know, historically, trophy-wise, we win more trophies. I get that, but Aston Villa is still a respectable club for me, and I think it's a good move for him, and I think it's a good move for Manchester United. I'm really not bothered by the fact that he's going to play in the Premier League. It doesn't bother me. His time at Manchester United is over. He has no future here. So there's not really... It's either that or he stays. So for me, I would rather get rid of him, get the money in, and then go and sign Mathys Tel. But as I said, I want you to pause the video. Let me know your thoughts on this deal. Marcus Rashford joining Aston Villa till the end of the season. 60% of his wages covered, which, let me just work out that maths for you really quickly. He's on £325,000 a week at Manchester United, right? At the moment, we're getting nothing for that. He hasn't played a professional game for nearly 6 weeks. 60% of his wages would be just under 200 grand a week. That's a lot of money that Manchester United will be saving. And we'll talk about Mathys Tel in a minute, but when you think that we'll have 200 grand a week more than what we would have had, because Aston Villa will be giving us that, plus there'll be a loan fee as well, which I've been hearing could be anywhere between £5 and £10 million. So it's a decent deal to be doing here for Manchester United. And if you think that this will now open the door for us to sign another player, you can't really argue with it. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Are you happy with this? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. So yeah, we've got Fabrizio as well. This is breaking news coming out in the last couple of seconds. Fabrizio's just posted saying that Marcus Rashford has now officially agreed personal terms with Aston Villa. He says a deal is now imminent. Both clubs are now close on agreeing a loan deal. An option to buy is also going to be included. So that's just come out from Fabrizio. And as I said, Manchester Evening News as well have just posted saying that a deal has now been agreed between Manchester United and Aston Villa for the transfer of Marcus Rashford. This is probably going to be one of the bigger deals of the window, isn't it? And I'm glad that we've got it sorted. I just think that Marcus Rashford staying at Manchester United would have been a disaster. It wouldn't have made any sense. And it would have just meant that we were talking about it every single day for the next 6 months. Now, some might argue that him staying in the Premier League is going to cause more conflict, is going to cause more conversation. Maybe it will. You know, if Marcus Rashford goes to Aston Villa and absolutely tears it up, you know for a fact that every single press conference, Ruben Amorim is going to be quizzed about whether he made the right decision. Did he make a mistake? And he's going to have to live with that. Ruben Amorim is going to have to live with that. I trust the manager. I trust what he says. I think he's the most honest and open-minded manager we've had in a very, very long time. And so far, there is nothing that I don't like about Ruben Amorim. So he has my full support, my full backing. Even if Marcus Rashford goes to Aston Villa and does well, I'm still going to 100% stick behind him, because I think at the end of the day, right, it's as simple as this. Marcus Rashford has been at Manchester United since he was a child, and he's got a bit complacent. You know, he's been made the poster boy of Manchester United, and because of that, his standards have dropped. Whereas he's going to go to Aston Villa, a team who are doing really well at the moment. They've got lots of good players. They've got people like Morgan Rogers, who's been phenomenal this season. They've got obviously people like Ollie Watkins, who's one of the best strikers in the Premier League at the moment. They've got some decent players in that attacking area, and he's going to have to work hard. Whereas at Manchester United, let's be honest, Højlund isn't cutting it. He's not really offering much. Garnacho's coming through the ranks. He's a young player. Ahmad's coming through the ranks. He's a young player. There isn't really much competition, and you can see why Rashford's standards have dropped. And I'm not saying that this is Manchester United's fault. I'm just saying that if he goes to Aston Villa and does well, it wouldn't surprise me, because he is a good footballer. His ability has never been in question. It's been his mentality. That's been the biggest question. And also his off-field antics as well. You know, him going out drinking, the Belfast situation, lots and lots of situations off the pitch, which we don't really need to get into now. But I don't have any bad blood around Rashford, to be honest. I think, obviously, it is upsetting to see someone who's come through the youth academy walking around the pitch like he doesn't care. But I think at the end of the day, we are where we are, and moving him on is the best thing. And let's hope that he goes to Aston Villa and he does well there and that he stays there permanently. So Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa looks like it's a done deal. Loan till the end of the season, 60% of the wages covered plus a loan fee. As I said, I would love to know your thoughts on this transfer in the comment section below. Pause the video, go and do that right now. As I said, this story has been confirmed by Manchester Evening News, Samuel Luckhurst, saying that they have now reached an agreement. Fabrizio is saying that he's agreed personal terms and that the deal is now imminent. So this deal will happen. It will go ahead. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section below. If you have just joined the video as well, everybody, please do me a small favour and make sure to drop a like. We've set a likes target of 500 for this episode, so please go and do that right now. And if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. We're only 2 subscribers away from 41,000, so please go and do that if you haven't already. So we've spoke about Rashford. I don't really have anything else to add on this situation, to be honest. I think we've covered the Marcus Rashford topic more than enough times on this channel. He is going to leave the club. He is going to join Aston Villa. I'm going to wish him all the best. I'm not the kind of person who's bitter. I'm going to wish him all the best. I hope that he finds love again for football, because at the moment, it doesn't look like he loves football. I don't know what's going on in his personal life. I don't know what's happening off the pitch, because there's something clearly very, very wrong. And I hope on a human level, I know some Man United fans are going to be like, oh, is he a disgrace and all the rest of it. I get that. I understand it, because we love Manchester United. And we see a player here who, let's be honest, has been robbing a living for the last 2 years. But at the end of the day, it was Manchester United's decision to give him 325 grand a week, you know? They were stupid enough to do that deal 2 years ago, and now they're the ones who are suffering because of their bad business. But anyway, I wish him all the best. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And let's move on over to something a little bit more positive, I guess. Let's talk a little bit about Mathys Tel then, shall we? Because it looks like it will be 1 in, 1 out at the end of this transfer window. Really quickly, actually, before we move on to Mathys Tel, there is some breaking news on Tyrell Malacia. I know this isn't the most exciting bit of transfer news, but still, I like to bring you guys all of the news. So this is coming out from multiple different people that apparently Malacia is now set to join Benfica on loan until the end of the season. The story says that he has now said farewell to his teammates at Carrington and he will move to Portugal. So that deal looks like it's done as well. The report is suggesting that Benfica will cover 100% of Tyrell Malacia's £75,000 per week wage. So that's done. Malacia out, Rashford out, and it looks like Casemiro could be on the way out as well, but to where, we're still waiting to find out. So we've gone through the outgoings. Obviously, we know the Marcus Rashford situation. We know the Tyrone Malacia situation. But let's talk a little bit about Mathys Tel. So we've got lots and lots to get into on the Mathys Tel topic. So buckle up and get ready for this. Now, there are some people suggesting that apparently Manchester United are looking at a more experienced player. So Florian Plettenberg has been speaking about Mathys Tel in the last couple of minutes, and he said that Manchester United are looking to loan Mathys Tel, which we all know, that's not new news. He says Manchester United are, however, looking for an experienced player who is currently at the top of the club's list. Who does that mean? What experienced players do we know that operate in that same position? I mean, Joao Felix, maybe? Someone like that? That's the big question here, because Mathys Tel is not experienced. We can all agree on that. Mathys Tel is an up-and-coming young talent. I think he's only scored 1 goal this season. I think he's only played maybe 200 minutes this season. He's not the answer, really, from an experience level. I think if you're talking about the future, Mathys Tel is absolutely perfect. He's somebody that we can mould alongside Chido Obi Martin, alongside Kobbie Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, Amad Diallo, that Heaven guy we just signed from Arsenal. The future looks bright for Manchester United when it comes to young players, but we are seriously lacking experienced players in this squad. Think about it. Look through the spine of our team, right? You've got Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield, who's 19? You've got Amad, who's 21, Garnacho, who's 20, Højlund, who's 21, Bruno, who's obviously 30, but he's not actually won that much in his career. The most experienced player in our squad is Bruno Fernandes, and he's not really won much in his career. Go and have a look at Bruno Fernandes' trophies cabinet and compare him with other 30-year-olds of a similar level. I'm having a little look now. So in his whole career, he's won 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup, and he has won the Portuguese title twice. Sorry, no. Yeah, he hasn't even won the Portuguese... Yeah, he's won the Portuguese League twice, the FA Cup and the League Cup, and that's it. So I can see why Manchester United are now considering looking at a more experienced option, because for me, Mathys Tel, I think, is definitely a player for the future. But yeah, we'll have to see. What's this? Yeah, I'm just going to go back to the Mathys Tel story, though. So in relation to Mathys Tel, the stories coming out this afternoon, or the indications, are suggesting that Bayern Munich want to do a permanent deal and that Manchester United want to do a loan. Multiple different people have suggested that Mathys Tel wants to join Manchester United. That's been widely reported over the last couple of days. So there's no doubt there that Mathys Tel prefers Manchester United over some other options like Chelsea, like Tottenham, etc. But whether or not he'll end up here is a whole other question, because of obviously the fact that Chelsea want a permanent deal. So there is a story coming out here again from Florian Plettenberg. So Florian Plettenberg in the last couple of minutes is reporting that Manchester United have contacted Bayern Munich over a loan deal. Apparently Bayern don't want to do a loan though. That's what's being reported. So yeah, I don't know. We need to bring somebody else in, because obviously we've lost Antony. We've lost Rashford now. We're very, very short in the attacking options. Obviously in the summer we lost Greenwood. We lost Pellistri. And we haven't really strengthened at all in the attacking areas. I know we got Joshua Zirkzee, but when you think since this time last year, we've let go of Greenwood, Rashford, Antony, Martial, Pellistri. I mean, that's 5 players already. And we haven't signed anybody. So we really, really need to bring someone in. But as somebody says in the chat, obviously the biggest problem here for Manchester United is we may not have the money in order to be able to bring in an attacking option, an experienced attacking option. Obviously, Mathys Tel on loan is a possibility, but if we're looking for experience, Mathys Tel does not give us experience, because he's not an experienced player. He's 19. He's barely played any football in his career. I can see some people in the chat saying, what about Matheus Cunha? I mean, Cunha would be an absolutely phenomenal signing for Manchester United, but I think the likelihood of that happening this late in the window is quite slim. But you never know in football. You absolutely never know. Who thought that Arsenal were going to submit a €60 million bid for Ollie Watkins? None of us did. Who thought that John Duran would move to Saudi for what, 70, 80 million pounds? No one did. So you never know in the transfer window, but I personally can't see us going for someone like Cunha. I can see other people in the chat saying, what about Gyökeres? I mean, he's one for the summer. We need to sign somebody, though, because if we let Rashford go, Antony go, and we don't bring in anybody, that's a big concern for me. And I know people will say, oh, Rashford doesn't play and Antony's not good enough. I get all of that. But at the same time, we still need to do something. Because the best thing that we can try and do in this second half of the season is give Ruben Amorim some more options so we can at least try and compete for the Europa League. We have to win the Europa League. That has to be the target here for Manchester United. So, yeah, I would be a little bit disappointed if we sign nobody. But I think we will. I think it's going to be a really, really busy few days for Manchester United. Obviously, Rashford joining Aston Villa, Malacia joining Benfica, and then hopefully some incomings. Hopefully Mathys Tel joins. Hopefully maybe we get a couple of other people as well. Like, that's what we've got to cling on to for the final weeks of the window. But what I wanted to ask you lot is this, right? So say Marcus Rashford goes to Aston Villa, which looks like it's all but done now. Who would you sign as a replacement? Because whether you like it or not, we do need a replacement. At the moment, we only have Garnacho and Ahmad, really, if you think about it. Obviously, Kobbie Mainoo maybe will play a bit further forward, which gives us more options, but I still think we need more attacking options. So who would you sign? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I personally, I don't know. I can see some people in the chat saying Jonathan David. That's a really interesting option. I can see somebody else saying Kenda from Sporting Lisbon on loan with a buy option. That would be very, very good as well. So, yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think the priority has to be an experienced striker because I don't want to keep bashing Rasmus Højlund, but he's just not it, I don't think. And I know people will say, oh, he doesn't get service, this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, Højlund's been here for nearly, 2 years now? And he's shown glimmers of what he could be, but he's still, a prospect. He's not the finished article. So, yeah, for me, it would be an experienced striker. Whether you go for Osimhen, whether that's a possibility, Gyökeres, somebody like that, but it's probably not very realistic this far into the window because obviously the window closes in, 48 hours on Monday? So, yeah, it's probably unlikely. But, yeah, so moving on from that, though, it looks like it's going to be a very, very big couple of days for outgoings for Manchester United, which is something that we'd obviously had hoped for at the beginning of the window. We'd hoped that Man United would get rid of some of these players. And if someone said to me at the beginning of the window that Antony, Malacia and Rashford had all gone out, I'd be happy with that. But at the moment, just signing Patrick Dorgu, I don't think that's enough, really. There's 3 players leaving and 1 player signing. We need a couple more before transfer deadline day. And I'm confident that Ineos know what they're doing. I'm going to give them a bit of trust in the final days of the window, and I hope that they surprise us. I hope that we get a Mathys Tel here we go later on today, or something to cling on to, because otherwise we're going to go into the second half of the season, and we're going to be a little bit short. What happens if Garnacho and Ahmad get injured? What happens then? Jonathan says, what about Ivan Toney? I can't see Ivan Toney coming to Manchester United now, to be honest. He only joined Saudi in the summer. So I think Ivan Toney will be staying in Saudi for now. I'd be stunned if Ivan Toney came to Manchester United at this point. I would have taken him in the summer. I thought he would have been a good signing, but I just think the likelihood of that happening now is quite slim. But you never know in football. You absolutely never know. Let me just see if there's anything else that's broken in the last couple of news. Apparently Patrick Dorgu's passed his medical, which is really positive. He's going to sign a 5-year contract at Manchester United. Also, Aiden Heaven has passed his medical, 18-year-old, and apparently he's going straight into the first team. So that's exciting. I mean, I guess he is a signing, isn't he, technically? Because apparently he will be a first-team player, this Aiden Heaven guy. Although I think he's a centre-back, isn't he? So, yeah. I'll obviously keep you updated. As it stands, Rashford to Aston Villa, Mathys Tel to Manchester United is the big question mark. But I am going to wrap the video up here. Feels like a good point to end today's show. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Super exciting last couple of days of the window. Before I leave today, please do me a favor. If you are watching for the first time, don't forget to subscribe. I've just dropped a link into the chat to do that. It's free to do so. It doesn't cost you any money. And make sure you like the video as well. And obviously, let me know your thoughts on this Rashford to Aston Villa deal. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll speak to you all tomorrow morning. Have a great Saturday. Bye for now.